This episode will cover Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1, lines 62 to 67. To die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. In Shakespeare's King Lear, the old king's wits are gone, and in foul weather he is intentionally locked out of castle doors by his two daughters, Regan and Goneril, contending with the fretful elements, bidding the wind blow the earth into the sea, or swell the curled waters above the main. When the cub-drawn bear would couch, and the lion and the belly-pinched wolf keep their fur dry, unbonneted he runs, none with him but the fool who labors to outjest his heart-struck injuries. After this long suffering, the king is eventually rescued by his only good daughter, Cordelia, and he sleeps long. When she wakes him, he speaks. You do me wrong to take me out of the grave. Thou art a soul in bliss, but I am bound upon a wheel of fire. In Shakespeare's play, Julius Caesar, I will not do thee so much wrong to wake thee. In Midsummer Night's Dream, Helena thinks she's been abandoned in the woods and by night. She speaks to herself, sleep, that sometimes shuts up sorrow's eye, still me a while from my own company. In Michel de Montaigne's essay on sorrow, he describes the heartache and the overwhelming shocks that flesh is heir to, but he concludes in a different way from Shakespeare. He says, I, for my part, am very little subject to these violent passions. I am naturally of a stubborn apprehension, which also, by reasoning, I every day harden and fortify. And in his essay on sleep, his indifference proceeded from a soul so much elevated above such accidents that he disdained to let it take any more hold of his fancy than an ordinary incident. But Michel de Montaigne loved sleep, and especially the sensation of falling asleep. He would have the bells to his castle ring and wake him up, just so he could have the pleasure once more of falling asleep. In Greek mythology, the god of sleep was named Hypnos. He is depicted as a young man with wings on his shoulders or brow. His attributes included a horn of sleep-inducing opium and a branch dripping water from the river Lethe or Forgetfulness. His powers were so great that not even the king of the gods, Zeus, could resist the hypnotic allure. And when the god of sleep overpowered Zeus, it turned out disastrously. Zeus was furious when he woke up and went on a rampage to find Hypnos, who had gone into hiding. And the second time Zeus fell asleep, it turned the tides of the Trojan War against the side Zeus favored. But for mortals, however, Shakespeare describes sleep as a great comforter. In Henry IV, Part 1, she will sing the song that pleaseth you, and on your eyelids crown the god of sleep, charming your blood with a pleasing heaviness. And this way death lies. Shakespeare reasons in his play Measure for Measure. The best of rest is sleep, and that thou oft provokest. Why grossly fearest thy death, which is no more? To die, to sleep, it is all one, a state of oblivion, where we came from and where we are going. In Shakespeare's The Tempest, we are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. The sweetest rest of all comes to Caliban, the monster from Shakespeare's The Tempest. He escapes his life of toil and tediousness through the act of magical sleeping. When men are shipwrecked and fear the sounds of his island, he comforts them by speaking. Be not afeard. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twinkling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometime voices that if I then had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. And then in dreaming, the clouds, methought, would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked I cried to dream again. I will read the lines once more. To die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream.